Hello everyone, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake, and this is Jake Reads Your Comments, where I read your comments.
Fact. That is true. So if you saw my last Ask Hugo, you know that this is the first in this series, and Jake found some comments he wanted to talk about, so here we are.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Does it feel good? You like having the reins to your own thing?
It's uncomfortable, and I tried to avoid this. But you guys can't ask me direct questions, so I still win. Fuck you guys!
The first comment we're going to be addressing is from Astral Cow, and for some context, this was on our Atheist Watch, God Loves Uganda, in which there was a woman, a white woman, who said she wouldn't marry a black man ever, essentially because she thinks that black people are just different than white people. And Astral Cow, in response to us, said, "No, that's not racist. So what happens if a black woman says the same thing about a white man? Would you think that's racist? To say that? Well, I have no problem with them being white, just that there is something kind of different that tends to separate us apart. Would you call that woman racist?" And then he goes on to explain that we're just overly sensitive liberals who are calling something racist because it involves a white person saying they wouldn't marry a black person.
So, if a black woman looks at me and says, "I'm not going to date you because you're white, and I don't like white people." Yes, that is racist. That is the most racist you can be about a thing. That's like me saying, you know what I don't like? Asian people. Not because of their faces or their bad driving habits, but because of their insides. So, basically, she was inferring that all black people, all of them, regardless of where they're at in the world, they could be African, they could be in Harlem, they all have the same, demeanor and character and build-up. That's ridiculous. No, of course that's not true. Of course that's not true. That's just like saying all white guys are amazing and wonderful, just like these two white guys.
But the point is, you're wrong. We're not being overly sensitive. If a black person said, for instance, "I hate all white people are horrible on the inside," no, that's also racist.
Yeah.
Racism crosses all color barriers.
The only thing you can say is always horrible on the inside every time is any pizza roll.
Okay, the second comment Jake's gonna talk about is from Vendalia1998. You think they were born in 1998, or you think they graduated in 1998?
I hope they were not born in 1998. Although, to be fair, I think they're 16 now.
Is it?
Yeah, that's fucking... Yeah, because I was born in 88, and I'm 26, so...
Legal in some states.
Ooh. So,
only the good ones.
Vandalia, you sound single.
So, they commented, "You ever think about doing some face cams with this series?" They're referring to our Bible series.
We tried that once, and we uploaded some things on a different channel, and here's a clip of that. So yeah, that didn't work out, and those we had cams attached to our faces.
See, because you call them face cams, that's not how you say video, you fucking idiot. Dire Panther commented on one of our Bible videos in which someone had sex with a relative, and they said, "My first cousin is super hot, still wouldn't fuck her, that and she's already married."
Okay, so here's what you gotta do, because clearly you want to. So what you should do is, when the husband's away, you guys should hang out, and you should be like, "Hey, let's do cousin things," and then just kind of proposition like, "Hey, we're first cousins. You're attractive. It's not weird, right?" And then she'll be like, "Totally not weird." And then you guys will make out and stuff, and then you'll round third base, and you'll chicken out right at the end, and you'll go home and you'll masturbate. But second time around, maybe you'll fuck.
You don't even need to use a condom. Family members can't get AIDS from each other.
Yeah, and they certainly can't get pregnant. I mean, if she did get, it'd probably not work out.
You ever seen The Hills Have Eyes?
Yeah.
Like that, but sexier. This is also in reference to our recent God Loves Uganda video, and if you didn't know, Scott Lively is someone who has helped orchestrate the anti-gay laws in Uganda.
Yes.
So, Amano Yukiteru commented, "Anyone else want to kidnap Scott Lively and jerk off on his face?"
Yes, we do. The thing about that, though, the sentence is kind of... You don't need to kidnap him. He's actually kind of cheap, surprisingly. It's only $1,000 usually. I don't know. Scott, I call him Scotty. Scotty, it depends on he doesn't like parties like bukkake. He doesn't like that. He's not into it. But like one-on-one or twosies, he'll do twosies for 1,500, and sometimes a baggie of meth. But but he'll let you jack off in his face, kind of a lot. It's excessive. He has a quart rule. So anything under a quart of semen, totally fine with him. So if you have a quart, just if you can generate that amount, I don't know what your balls look like.
I can, but it takes about a week.
Okay.
This next comment is in reference to how we referred to the creation myth and the fall of Adam and Eve as sort of an allegory for the agricultural revolution.
Yes.
Niels Hoogeveen says, while it is an attractive idea that the story of the fall is somehow a metaphor for the rise of agriculture, it is also problematic with respect to the time scale. When the story of the fall was written, agriculture had been present in the Levant for millennia. It is debatable whether an oral tradition can sustain meaning for so long.
I actually found this really interesting. The idea that oral tradition can't continue is kind of flawed and sort of disproven, but I get it. I understand how it could be kind of hard for people to think that that could travel. But I made a comment, and I'm going to kind of paraphrase it. The Hindu Rig Veda is like the oldest religious text we have. The oral tradition goes back so far that there are portions of that where there's not even modern human language being used in some of the songs, and the Brahmin, the highest caste that orates the Rig Veda, they don't even know really what it's saying. They just know, they memorize it. And the way that order works, and has worked since its inception, is your only job is to memorize that thing. So they kind of have the perfect setup to make oral tradition continue. And the Rig Veda, and especially those really old hymns, they travel back all the way pretty much to the Harappan Empire, which is one of the earliest civilizations we have any evidence of, and we can't even read their writing at this point. So basically, I'd say it's probable. I'd say it's not improbable at all, especially knowing how the Hebrew culture worked and how much oral tradition was a part of the fabric of their community. I say it's very interesting, and we could be totally wrong, but the concepts in there are so symbolic, and if you think about proto-languages and stuff like that, they would use a lot of symbolism because due to lexical deficiencies in early language, you'd have to use a lot more symbolism and kind of metaphor to get your point across, because you wouldn't have as many words to orate detail. Mm-hmm. So something like this could have easily sprung out, and that's how you get myth almost always. So yeah, that's it. That's my answer.
I'm assuming this was on our God Loves Uganda video as well. This is from Ryukishi Fan 396, and he says, Christians only help the poor to brainwash them. Let's be honest, they don't actually give a shit if they die or not.
What a fucking stupid comment. You should leave. You should leave and never come back here. Ever. You should just stay there on the internet and go to Reddit and then say that stuff away from us, because that's ridiculous. Don't get me wrong, some Christians have no interest, none whatsoever, in helping other people. That's just general for all people, though. That has nothing to do with what religion they believe in or don't believe in. Atheists often suck too. There are shitty people everywhere. There are shitty Hindus. There are shitty Taoists. There are shitty Buddhists. Just a few. I mean, it doesn't matter your background. Plenty of Christian groups. St. Jude's is a really good example. They help kids with families that can't really afford cancer care. They're poor generally. They help a fucking ton. And we're actually planning on supporting them in the future. And maybe we'll get some details out of that later when that actually comes to fruition. But no, Christians do help poor people, just as atheists and just as everybody else. So get that trash out of here, basically. And I hate you. And I hate you.
Boom. This comment was in response to a Chick Chat we did where there was a bunch of conspiracy theories about Russia and Nazis and communists and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Comrade Car says, Russia and Germany were not allies, you dumb twats. Stalin never allied himself with the Nazi scum. Comrade Stalin signed a non-aggression treaty only after a lot of other nations had done so. It was done to protect the USSR.
First of all, I could be a dumb twat. You don't know. You rarely see my face. I could literally be a flapping vagina just with a dulcet tones and a sexy voice.
On the good days, you are.
Yeah. I think what you're referring to is the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact that Russia and Germany signed, and it was a non-aggression act. You're correct, and they used the word allies in that chick tract, and I think maybe we did too. That's just semantics. It's a pact. A pact is, an agreement or like a union between people. The definition of alliance is a union or association formed for mutual benefit, especially between countries and organizations. The Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact was pretty much there with the intentions to guarantee non-belligerence between either party towards the other, and in a commitment to neither party would ally itself or aid an enemy of the other party. The latter provision ensured that Germany would not support Japan in its undeclared war against the Soviet Union, but also along the Manchurian-Mongolian border, ensuring the Soviets won the Battle of Kilkengall. So basically, it was an agreement that benefited both of them between countries. So you can call it whatever the fuck you want. That's like saying, "Oh, I'm dating a girl, but we're not together." You were just talking. It's just a fucking. You're just scared of titles, man. Make a commitment.
And yes, obviously their political goals differed, but that doesn't mean they weren't allied. I mean.
Yeah. Maybe
if
you don't want to call it an ally, that's fine.
I get the semantic political difference, but clearly when we were saying that in the video,
and to further that, they invaded Europe together and split up like fucking Poland and Eastern Europe, and that's why that whole situation got fucked. They did it together, okay?
For a while,
together, and then Hitler got a little hubris.
Hitler made the classic Napoleon mistake. Oh, yeah.
So if we learned anything from Hitler and the whole pact thing, attack Russia from the east, and you'll take them over.
Just like the Mongols. Good old Mongols.
They're the exception!
And finally, the last comment. Text JD Simon on one of our videos said, "Mind wishing me a happy birthday? It's tomorrow," or I think by the time this comes out, it'll be yesterday.
Yes. So, happy birthday yesterday. Hugo already got to you and said, hi. But it was a day early. And now we're a day late, so we bookended your birthday with birthday wishes, and I hope you got a blowjob. I don't know how old you could be. 13 years old.
I looked at their channel. They're definitely underage. Don't.
I hope you got a blowjob from someone of similar age. Not one that would be like too creepy or too like young or old, but one that like is your peer, like you have like English class with them. And I hope it was weird because you're really young, and it probably wouldn't. It would have been weird. I don't know how weird old young people. I don't remember how my penis worked back then. If this person was even has a penis. I don't know if they're male or female. Actually, I think it was female.
This was a weird episode.
I hope whatever happened was less awkward than it probably would have been when I was your age.
So thanks everyone. I think we'll end with the child penis discussion.
Yeah.
So, this is where we would normally say, like on Ask Hugo, ask questions, but that's not how this works.
Nope. So next Friday, I don't know what's planned, but it's not going to be a Jake or a Hugo, I think.
Trick tracked?
I'm pretty sure we're doing a Halloween thing.
Yeah.
Woo! Halloween stuff!
So, I mean, thanks everyone for watching. You know, tell us what you thought of this in the comments or not. I don't give a fuck.
Well, it's not like I'm going to read them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
It's okay, I'll read them.
Okay.
Might touch myself to some of them. You don't know. Thanks everyone for watching. Until next time, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake. And this has been Jake Read Your Comments, and then I read them, and that was Success!